On November 1st, 1781, Emperor Joseph II tirelessly worked day and night, often for 18 consecutive hours. During his reign, he issued an incredible 6,000 decrees, averaging almost 2 per day. One of the most crucial, the decree abolishing serfdom, comes into effect on this very day. Citizens now gain the right to marry without the consent of the authorities, freely move, pursue education, and work beyond the boundaries of the estate. On November 3, 1957, Sputnik 2 carried the first living being into space, a dog named Laika. However, the frightened dog, confined in a cabin just 80 centimeters long, survived only a few hours. Sensors on her body showed a significant increase in heart rate immediately upon liftoff. She ate a little, but then fear overcame her. She died of panic and overheating. On November 7, 1665, the first edition of the famous The London Gazette was published in England, then known as the Oxford Gazette. They have been continuously published to this day, rightfully claiming the title of the oldest English newspaper. They are not, however, magazines in the contemporary meaning of the word. They were mailed only to subscribers and were not for sale to the public. On November 11, 1918, Emperor Charles I of Austria reluctantly signs a document renouncing his involvement in state affairs in Austria and leaves Schönbrunn Palace in Vienna on the same day. After the loss of World War I, he is forced into exile, but he never renounces his titles and claims. He has kept hope within himself for a long time, dreaming of one day returning to the throne. On November 14, 1380, at the age of 12, Charles VI became the King of France. His coronation, however, took place 9 years later. Even at that time, the monarch suffers from a serious mental disease that significantly affects his reign and the entire course of the 100 Years' War between England and France. Despite this, the common people adore him, and he has never been deposed. On November 16, 1532, "Kill them all," ordered the Spanish conqueror Francisco Pizarro as he and his men invaded the city of Cajamarca in present-day Peru. Thousands of Incas fell victim to the bloody rampage. Although their king, Atahualpa, offered the Spaniards a colossal ransom, he was captured and executed. On November 17, 1558, 25-year-old Elizabeth I ascended to the throne and declared, "I have married England, and my wedding ring is my coronation ring." Not only did she keep her vow, never marrying or providing an heir to the English throne, but she never allowed a man into her bed. Speculation about her lovers continues to this day. On November 21, 1916, the steamship Britannic hit a mine and sank in less than an hour. On board was the British nurse Violet Jessop, who had already survived the collision of the ship Olympic and the cruiser HMS Hawke in 1911, as well as the tragedy of the Titanic a year later. So she managed to survive once again. Another lucky survivor was also stoker Arthur John Priest. On November 26, 1346, Charles IV was solemnly crowned as the Holy Roman Emperor. Not in Aachen, however, but in Bonn. The residents of the traditional coronation city remained loyal to Emperor Louis IV, who died a year later and whom Charles was to replace. Even the return to Bohemia was quite risky for the monarch, so he must travel in disguise as a page. On November 30, 1700, Tsar Peter I the Great arrived at Narva with a massive army for the time, numbering 37,000 men and 195 cannons. He was confident of success. His army, however, was significantly weaker in terms of combat ability than the numerically inferior Swedes. At Narva, around 8,000 Russian soldiers fell, and the rest surrendered. The Swedes, with 667 dead, captured all the cannons and ammunition, as well as 20,000 muskets.